Moving along now, the Congress of South African Students, COSAS, has elected new leadership at the organization's 19th National Congress, which ended officially today in Tshwane. To look into the outcomes of the Congress and perhaps the new leadership's vision for the organization, we have in studio now the newly elected COSAS President Itumeleng Ntsube. Good afternoon to you, Itumeleng. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having us.
Yeah, and I don't know, who do we recognize now? Because we understand there was a similar Congress held in the Northwest. Who's who here? Are you the official president of COSAS, or what's happening?
I am here as part of the 19th National Executive Committee member, being elected unopposed president. What we are referring to is actually, that is a nonsense, because the people who organize the conference, the entire structure of COSAS, the 18th NEC, organized the conference in Tshwane. And then some people decided to hold their own boyfriend and girlfriend's club outside to have to factor upon. So our conference is legitimate because even the African National Congress has sent a team to foresee the processes at all.
So the boyfriend and the girlfriend club that you're referring to, are you basically saying that the Congress was not official? Is that what you say?
Of course, you can't convene a national conference with one province and then you call it a national conference.
Does it signal divisions within the organization?
No, there are no.
Because we're talking about the previous leadership of COSAS, isn't it?
There are no divisions at all. We can't even say the signals of divisions when the former president of COSAS has decided on himself and the outgone DSG of COSAS to form their own thing outside the collective. So it can't be divisions.
All right, so I suppose then it's safe for me to say congratulations on your new role. It's not necessarily new for you because you were the chairperson of COSAS in the Free State.
Of course, I was the chairperson, and then later on I was elected as the OD of the province, and then I have ascended as the president of the organization.
What is your vision for COSAS?
Look, it is not merely about Itumeleng Ntsube, but it's about the collective.
I mean the new leadership's vision as a collective.
What we've agreed upon at the conference is that we are taking it upon ourselves to revive the organization because the organization has gone astray. We recognized our failures as the organization and were taking into confidence the people of South Africa, particularly the students that were leading, that we are here to help and see that Congress of South African Students reclaim its glorious victories.
What are those failures? Talk to us about those failures. And would you agree that you were part of that failing team because you were the chairperson of the Free State at that time?
Look, Congress of South African Students, its mission is to achieve free, dynamic, decolonized, quality education for all. Up until now, I mean, we have made strive to actually deliver that, but up until now, we have not yet actually deliver that. So the conference took resolutions that we, as part of the 19th administration, what we must do is that we must push the government through the African National Congress, because it's the center of power, to nationalize all the private schools.
Before we talk about your resolutions, let me just pose my question in this manner. Is COSAS still relevant in this day and age?
Of course, Congress of South African Students is still relevant and continue to be relevant because it continues to wage struggles that affect students at pre-tertiary.
What do you stand for now? Because back in the days in 1979 when COSAS was established, you were basically representing the interest of black school students, more so during the Soweto uprisings at that particular time. What do you stand for now? What do you do for learners and students now?
You know, when we're dealing with people, it's a social science. It's unlike your natural science where you mix hydrogen with your oxygen, it will give you water. It's a complex situation. What we are dealing with now, we're dealing with the complexity of the education system that we're still receiving in our schools. that we believe, and we have seen the outcomes of that education, that it does not show the outcomes that actually upbrings us to that level that we need. Because currently, if we could check the education system of South Africa, it is that so the students being produced out of high school to be job seekers rather than job creators.
Who do you represent?
Who are representing the students?
Where? Tertiary institutions or high schools and primary
schools?
High
schools and primary.
The reason I'm asking you is that in most cases we always find that the leadership or COSAS leadership is people who are at tertiary institutions rather than having members from high school and primary schools. Hence, I'm asking you, who exactly are you representing? Because one would have thought that organizations such as SASCO would be representing the students in institutions of higher learning. So how do you stand for the interest of people where you are not studying?
Okay, the Constitution of COSAS allows us to contest, anybody to contest, but only when you are less than 24, and some of us, we still qualifies.
Also, the Constitution provides for that.
Yes.
So the resolutions, there is a number of the resolutions that the Congress the Congress has looked into. Firstly, you're rejecting the Department of Basic Education's proposal for the Grade 9 certificate. Your reasons?
Of course, we are actually rejecting it because it is so certain in that the minister could make such utterances, because we exit at grade 12, and some of us, we can't even still find skills or whatsoever in grade 12. So imagine exiting at grade 9. Because here we must appreciate that all of us, we cannot be given academical, others must do artisans and so forth. But what we have noticed is that the department or government has actually neglected the TVET colleges, that they're saying they're going to send these people that are going to be exiting at grade 9. That is actually the basic reason.
Have you engaged the department on this matter? I would imagine not. But did you hear their explanation on this matter? They're saying that this is not necessarily to say that learners must exit at grade 9, but it provides for those, as you say, who are not academically up to scratch to go to TVET colleges and become artisans.
But currently, the same department, it is neglecting that sector of TVET to provide whatever skills.
But the TVET colleges is the responsibility of the Department of Higher Education and Training, isn't it?
It is, but it is neglected. That is our actually basic principle of argument here.
All right, so your argument is not the idea on its own, but the fact that the TVET colleges where these grade 9 learners would be referred to are not taken care of.
Yes.
So what happens now going forward?
What happens now going forward, it is that as conference we have said that young people in South Africa, particularly students, they are not taking politics serious. We've agreed that it is our responsibility to see that we are going to conscientize people in South Africa, particularly young people. Equally, we are going to address the issue of security in our schools, because when you go to office of these ministers, because some of us, we've been there, before even you could reach her office, you meet 4 or 3 trained personnel. And we're asking ourselves, why is it that we cannot have such in our schools? I mean, our schools, we do not have psychologists. We're dealing with psychological problems at home. And then we're bringing that to teachers. And some of the teachers are not trained to deal with such things. Equally, we are saying that nationalization of private schools would mean that it will breed a free, dynamic, decolonized education for all.
But why would you want to privatize them? These schools are private. Why would you want to nationalize them? I beg your pardon.
Yes. The mission and the vision of Congress South Africans has always been for us to deliver free, dynamic, decolonized, quality education for all. For all.
But aren't you supposed to be engaging the department to provide the quality that you're talking about to your public schools? Shouldn't that be your point of departure, to say that this is the kind of quality that is provided by private schools? public schools should be on par with private schools?
No, we are actually in talks with the department, but we have actually said, because it does not actually make no sense, because here we're talking about the content, because the content, it is more important here when we speak of decolonization, because what I learn at Ntemuseng, it is more different to what a student in Kuro learns in Bloemfontein.
All right, we've run out of time, but I know that, I don't know if our viewers still remember you that you are the youngest legislature, the youngest member of the NCOP. Here you are now, you've got plans, resolutions have been passed at your Congress. The implementation thereof, how are you going to take that further with your fellow lawmakers and legislators when you get to the NCOP?
Look, in Parliament is driven by the caucus of the political parties, and caucus of the political parties take their mandates from the headquarters of the organization. So in this instance, as the newly elected 19th National Executive Committee, we are going to persuade the African National Congress to take into cognizance what we are presenting to them as our resolutions, so that they may present it to the caucus of the African National Congress in Parliament, so that we may make laws upon what we've agreed upon in conference. All right,
Itumeleng, I think we'll have to bring you back to studio because we haven't touched on a number of issues, but we'll leave it at this. Thank you so much for coming through. Itumeleng Ntsube is the newly elected COSAS President, talking to us about the resolutions that have been taken at conference. As I said, we'll surely have him back in studio to talk about a number of issues, more so the violence that's been playing out at our schools, to see what the plans are going forward. We're taking a quick break here on SA Today. There's still so much more to come. Stay with us.